Well, look at this. Sofia, Bulgaria. During the pandemic. Here we are. Look at PK. Look at this. PK here. It was out of the box, and now we're really living out of the box. I'm here for 6 weeks with my wife. I have a Bulgarian wife. I lived here in 12 years in Sofia, Bulgaria during the pandemic and made it. And what are we going to talk about today, you guys? You know, our favorite thing in life, which is, what is it about that 911 that we love so much? Put my cigarette down. A Porsche, of course. Here we go, in we go. Take it inside, get my glasses. Give you a formal introduction here. Use this. Okay, here we are. Hi, it's PK. I want to welcome you guys. This is Out of the Box. We're really living out of the box today because, look, I went from Miami, flew on Lufthansa, or German. We know that Germany has the great, they make the best cars. Of course, we know we have the best car. And the name of the show, I have notes, if you don't know who I am. I had a brain aneurysm 20 years ago, so forgive me for my speech. I'm doing the best I can. I'll try to be clear. But the name of the show is, what is it about that Porsche 911 that we love so much? First, let me give you a little introduction. I'm 62. I'm from LA. I grew up on the west side, Beverly Hills, Bel Air, blah, blah, blah. And what happened was my introduction to a Porsche, Americans, Porsche, I'm going to say Porsche because my friends who don't have a Porsche, that's what they don't understand is Porsche. They say, what? So anyway, I was 16 years old, just got a driver's license, and my neighbor, a girl I liked, I went out, her father had this is 1977, now this is how old I am, you guys. In 1977, her father had a 911. I don't even know if it was an S, whatever it was a 911. And he was very cool, and says, I asked him, would you like to go out would you like to drive it? Of course, you can imagine. I had driven before that. I had a friend of mine who was a real Porsche fanatic. One of my best friends, his father had one, he let me drive it. Make a long story short, this is my first time in a real 911. And remember, back then, they were all manual. And I'd learned how to drive a manual, so I was very fortunate. But let me tell you, once I got in that car, you guys know, that was it for me. And now I'm 16. I thought, like all of us in high school, I said, one day when I make money, I'm buying a 911. That's all there is to it. And what happened was, I had this thinking through the college years, and then when I was about 20 years old, I grew up to work for my father in real estate business. And one of the guys I worked with, he was one of these Ferrari, fanatics. And he said, PK, forget this Porsche. This is for girls. Only girls drive a Porsche. Real guy drives a Ferrari. And remember, I'm 20 years old, and he let me take it out for a drive. And of course, I switched because in LA there were lots of 911s and very few people. Remember, this was back in the day before you guys were born, practically. Nobody had these cars under 30. We didn't have these Silicon Valley billionaires, and even the parents, the wealthy parents, they didn't give the kids the money. So you didn't see these fancy cars back, somebody in their 20s. So to have a Ferrari. So one thing led to another. I got into the trading business. I'm a professional trader. I had a brokerage company. I've been a trader my whole life, 35 years in the futures market. Do a little some stocks, did some options, but this is really what my profession is. And I bought my first Ferrari at 23, a couple of years. had another one. So, that was my thing. I had a Ferrari. It was great. Nothing like a Porsche, but, it was something different. Nobody had that back then, so I felt special. So now we'll fast forward it. Now, it's 2018. My wife and I moved from Europe, from Bulgaria, about 6 years ago. We got tired of the cold. I love living here in Europe. I know a lot of you have been. There's just nothing like it. To live here for 12 years, to have a European spouse, and believe me, that's how I get in. We came last summer during the height of the pandemic, and that's because I have that Disneyland e-ticket. Right through the customs. This way, please. PK, nothing stops us from going. Virus, this, that, testing, we made it. In fact, this year, we got here a week ago, I'm still a little bit jet lagged. It was actually harder. So anyway, around 3 years ago, so we moved to Florida. We went to Palm Beach, the Palm Beach County, lived in Palm Beach and Jupiter, ended up buying a house. Loved it, loved the climate, the whole vibe. Next thing you know, I'm at a Mercedes dealer. I got a Mercedes for my wife for Valentine's Day, and on the showroom floor was it was a 2014, just traded in the silver. I think I'll put it up in my thumbnail, and I just kept staring at that car. It's 2014, manual, of course, and I drove it, and I thought, we bought the Mercedes for my wife. 3 days later, came back, and it was about maybe $65,000. The car had about 32,000 miles. And let me tell you, I felt something unbelievable. Something like it brought back the incredible memory when of being 16. Now you can say, "Oh, PK, here you are, you're an old goat," that I joke around, having that midlife crisis. But you know, these people have midlife crisis. What do they buy? They buy that horrible Corvette. I don't tell you, or they're not drivers. They buy something else, something to impress the girls, because trying to get a girl. But I'm happily married. I've got an incredible, beautiful wife. I'm very lucky. She's close to 20 years younger than me. And let me tell you, to get in that car, this 911S, it was before the turboized, what do you call it, natural aspirated engine. I'm not one of these fanatics, real Porsche fanatics, but nothing brings the feeling, for me. And, the crazy thing about it, over the years, I never really thought about buying a Porsche again. But after driving that car and, the difference, I hadn't driven one in, who knows, 30 years. And, look, it shows you as a trader, if you had asked me, 30, 35 years ago, would they ever have something called an automatic Porsche 911? I would have bet everything. Never can happen. This is never going to happen. Look what happened. PDK, which happens to be this incredible transmission. But it's something, I can never have. This out of it. This never going to be. Anyway, so I'm rambling on you guys, but I'm just so excited about doing this. You guys know the feeling. I don't have to tell you. Just every day I look for whatever reason to be a daily driver. There's no traffic where we live in this Palm Beach, West Palm Beach area, Palm Beach Gardens. Everything is so close. Whatever, I found every excuse in the world. Oh, honey, I'm gonna go buy some bagels. Oh, I'm gonna go to the market. Anything to get in that car. It just felt something. It's just unbelievable. So, what I want to tell you is, what's so great about this, about having a 911? I'm going to list them for you. Well, number one, I know you guys are going to agree with probably every one of these. In fact, you can even add some comments to whatever I'm missing, what it is for you. But for me, for PK, the feeling. But for me, it's only in the manual I have this feel. And I'll explain a little bit later why. But number one, the feel. It's just, and you're one with the car. Like you're engaged. That's why the manual transmission, this to me is driving a 911. Yes, I know the PDK, is faster if you're a track person. It's incredible transmission, but it's just I don't feel the connection with the car. I don't feel the driving experience. And remember, Florida is flat, not so many places to go. There's not so many turns, which is number 3, of course. What's so great about having a 911? To me, coming out of a turn, there's just nothing like it. Nothing. I think our Porsches could take any car in those turns. Once you start getting into windy road, you can lose Ferrari, Lamborghini, all these other cars. It just, especially forget about the all-wheel drive, the rear-wheel drive. You guys know, get the sport exhaust system, which I didn't have, by the way. But, just the manual, coming out of a turn, there's nothing like that. Nothing like having that Porsche. It's just something. I would just find the road. There were a few of those roads. Listen, when I was living in LA, there are a lot of places to go if you get away from the traffic. But here in Florida, Florida's a good place to have a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or one of these cars that go straight with very few turns. You don't require that incredible handling. That you guys know this. That the 911 is just nothing like it. And number 4, I want to say is going from 0 to 100 miles an hour. This for me is, I call it my market. It's like, as a trader, we always have markets that are good or bad for us, that we love both, that are most profitable for us, that feel the best. And for me, I'm not a speed person. For me, it's all about going in the turns and downshifting into the turn and really hitting that gas, hitting it to the max halfway, not fully out of the turn. They say that apex point, but I even tried to push it a little bit sooner because I found out when I was 16, it's that timing. You can really hit, as long as you keep accelerate to that turn, the back end's not gonna come out. And remember, now they've made these cars much more stable, the suspension, since years ago. Let's see, so that kind of tells you up. So 0 to 100 for me is where I feel it the most. Once I start going in a straight line and getting on that stupid I-95, which is like it's just straight, I don't really feel that comfortable. The car seems small. Yes, it's just not for me. I never enjoyed going fast in a straight line. Maybe these are the people who buy Ferraris and Lamborghinis that love this type of driving. But me, I think having a 911 is all about from 0 to 100. Taking those turns at 60, 70, 80, 90. It's unbelievable. You guys know what to tell you. Let's see. Okay, one is, I'll do a quick commentary because I just ramble on, as you see. I know it's probably the first time you don't see who I am. If you come to my channel, you'll see I just go off like crazy about very few subjects. But one of these things, this thing with having the car, driving the Porsche, I just had to share this with you because I know I'm probably missing some things, and I know it has such incredible meaning. All of us have this connection to this 911. That's just something, it's just indescribable. You guys know it, I know it. But I want to comment quickly for me. Everyone asks me, I get this at the fitness, they say, okay, PK, what's wrong with the PDK? Why is it out? Why is it for me? I tell them this, one, it's too easy. Your grandmother can do that PDK. It's so simple. And you can say, well, PK, how do you know it's so easy? Have you driven one? And I'm telling you, I did drive one. In fact, I drove a 2017. Somebody let me. I met him at the bagel shop. He saw me pulling up in my my gray 911S. We started talking. I told him this is the car I'd like to have one day. I've always wanted that GTS, because I could drive it during. as a daily driver and still enjoy it because I'm not dealing in traffic. And he said, okay, I'll let you drive it. But what did he have? Of course, he had PDK. And let me tell you, yes, it's unbelievably fast. It does everything for you. And I'll tell you something. Within 15 minutes, PK was bored. This is how I feel about PDK. And yes, I guess maybe if I'm a track person and going on the track and race, we know. But even still, for me, there's nothing like manual transmission. Maybe that's because I'm one of those old school. There's nothing to do with the Porsche, but really, I guess it is. The connection with driving that manual transmission is untouchable. Well, that PDK, as I said, I'm telling you, my grandmother, if she was alive, she could drive that car. It's so easy to drive, especially the one that's it's so incredible, so smooth and so fast. But it's boring. Let's see. So that's really why PDK is out for me, and of course, it's becoming harder and harder to find, a manual transmission, as the time goes on. And this kind of brings me to the conclusion. I've gone 16 minutes. I've rambled on already. Is, where's my notes? I'm going to have to wing it. Okay, no. Here we go. The last thing. Listen, let me give you a little advice. Don't ever get sick. I had this brain aneurysm. This wiped me out. I'm telling you. This is a horrible thing. I was 40 years old, living in Maui. You don't want to have this happen to you. I mean, they thought I was dead. I have no memory. That's why I have to read these notes. I have to write everything down. I got brain damage. But still, I can drive that. I can still put it together enough. I've killed myself with the fitness to pull it together. So the question is, okay, BK, so what is the future? Where's the future lie? What do you want? You've got your 2014 Carrera, your 911S. So where do we go from here? Well, for me, I'm waiting. I want the 992. I wanted that new GTS. Hasn't come out yet. I see these pictures like you. I'm sure there's all these great car channel. I'm not a car channel. I'm more of a out of the box, living out of the box about trading best beaches, things like this. I don't sell anything. I'm just doing it because I love to do it. It makes me feel good. And I believe one good deed leads to another. This is kind of where PK is coming from. So this is my, quote unquote, my dream car. Hasn't come out yet. They talk about it coming out. I really want this. We know this 992 is something unbelievable. Who knows? It's next year, and they say you have to order it. And when it does come out, it could be years. And meanwhile, one thing, I'm not young like you guys. I'm 62 in August, so I don't have all this time to wait. So what can I do in the meantime? One thing, I would like to go to I might have to make the compromise and do 2017. No, I thought someone was here. I thought I would have to go to I'd actually make the compromise, and I'll probably go to the turbocharged, from 2017 to 19, some Carrera S or Carrera. It really doesn't really matter because it's just a stepping stone. Because I'll tell you, since I don't have so many places to drive, for me, I did really notice the difference driving the natural aspirated engine, if I could say it correctly, of what I have 2014 versus the 17. And of course the rear wheel drive. I went down and took a test, drove one, I wanted to see if I could feel a difference, and you really do feel a difference. And since I'm all about going 70, 80 miles an hour through the turns, I like how that turbo kicks in quickly. Okay, you know what? I would for sure buy one with the sports exhaust system, because the sound is it's not like the older ones before the pre-turbo ones, but still, it's still the sound. Put it in Sports Plus and hit it. You guys know. So that's number one, and then the other to end this madness here with you guys about what is it about that 911? What's the number one thing I want to do? I hate to use that word bucket list, because I hate that bucket list is like a one-shot deal. And for me, it's not going to be a one-shot deal. For me, my dream, I'm going to do this. I can't do it this summer. I'm here for 6 weeks. The pandemic, we have to wait for this crazy, stupid thing to end. Hopefully it will end soon. They'll open it up. We hear all these rumors. The bottom line is, so looks like I have to wait till next summer, but it's worth waiting for. Which is, PK, I want to go. I'm going to that. No, forgive me on the pronunciation, but I'm going to this Nürburgring track in Germany. It's very close, not so far here from Bulgaria, from the Sofia airport. I've already called the place. There's a couple of, they have all these places you can rent a high-performance sports car. But I found one that will rent that GT3, but in manual. And that's what PK is going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm dreaming for this. I can't tell you how many, maybe like you guys too, how many videos I've watched on YouTube over and over again. Flying on this Nürburgring, that track engine is born for our car. Really is. It's just all those turns, everything I love, exactly the road. It's just something I dream to do. In fact, before I go, if I get to go next summer, last thing I'll do with, I'm going to take some driving lessons. I'm going to go to the racetrack in the Florida. You know, I remember Florida's full of these mummies. But we have 2 racetracks, the Miami track, and it's in Palm Beach. They have this Palm Beach Raceway, and they have some cars. You know, I don't think they have a manual. Okay, but for sure I'm going to take a couple lessons in that GT3, so when I go, I can really take that thing out of the box. Really take that GT3 to the max. I'm sure that you guys know, have been there. If you have, write something, comment, write me. You can find me on the Facebook. I want to know if any of you have been to that Nürburgring in Germany in the right car, you know. And for sure, if I can't get it in manual, I ain't going. It won't be the same, you know. I tell you, at the end of this video, I just don't feel it in the PDK. What can I tell you? Even though it's much faster. It's so simple. I don't like this. Too easy. Anyway, so listen. Look at 22 minutes. I just go off like crazy. It's a PK here with Out of the Box. You know, we talked about our favorite thing that makes the blood boil, which is, what is it about that 911? I know, you know, PK, Out of the Box. Wish everyone a great day. Ciao, everybody. See you again.